This is Hayden Lermont from SHC TV, and today I'm very lucky to be joined by the EBU European Middleweight Champion, Tyler Denny, ahead of his fight against Felix Cash next month at the Resorts World Arena in Birmingham. So yeah, mate, like I say, how are you doing today?
I'm all good, man. It's been a busy day. Busy day. Get to chill now for a bit, but keeping active, man. Staying fresh and getting myself in the best position to retain my belt.
That's good to hear, mate, 100%. So yeah, what I wanted to sort of start with, which I like to start with is, how did you first get into boxing? What's your sort of story in getting into it? And yeah, how did you get into it?
My friend kept asking me. He was doing boxing. He kept asking me to come down the gym, and I put it off for a while. I was just into football as a kid, and then I went down. I think I was like 15. I think I had my first fight when I was 16. Yeah, and then since then I just loved it really. But I mentioned like I used to train twice a week. I just done it as an hobby, and then as I got older, I was working and that, and then turned professional. Again, I had real no ambitions or anything really. And it's been the last like 3 years. I've had a sponsor, S&R Construction, and he's allowed me to go full time, and that's where we've seen the best of me as well.
So yeah, we'll go back a wee bit. So, what was your sort of amateur career like? I obviously mentioned there you weren't really, fully into boxing, you were only training about twice a week. So yeah, what
Yeah.
was your amateur career like? And what accolades did you achieve? How sort of was it?
I had 35 fights, 125, I think, as amateur, but that was all at light heavyweight as well. Like I said, there's no such thing as a diet for me back in the day or whatever. I used to just fight at what weight I walked away that. So never really achieved nothing. I think I won like a Midlands before, but that was it really. But it was just something to do. Yeah, I mean, I never like it was just an hobby. I mean, some people play football. I was just doing boxing, but then you got to take it a bit more serious with boxing. I think because you can get hurt if you. So I started respecting the sport a bit more and put myself into it, and here I am.
Then obviously, turning pro, you turned over in 2015. How sort of was that, the transition from amateur to professional? And yeah, how did you sort of find that?
Uh, it was good to be fair. Because I was training with the pros for probably about 6 to 12 months before, while I was still amateur. Do you know what I mean? So it was fairly good, and we had some at the time. There was like Ricky Summers. I turned with Andy Robertson, Jason Wellborn, who was British champion at the time in the gym. Andy Robinson, I said him already. Stephen Pearce. There's some decent level fighters. Do you know what I mean? So you learn a few things off them. Take a bit of tips and advice, and it was good, man. It was good. It's better to get a bit of money at the end of a fight instead of a trophy, wasn't it?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So then obviously, your pro journey so far, you've picked up the Midlands area title, the English title, and then obviously more recently the EBU European title. So what sort of, moments stick out to you the most in your journey so far?
Um, I think my Midlands area title, I beat Tom Stokes, so that was underdog then. That was a big one for me. Obviously we had the River Wilson ones as well, but one that kind of gets not looked at as much. I beat Derek Azazi. He was 10-0 at the time, but it was not on a massive show or nothing. So it was on Fight Zone One. To be fair, it was like lockdown sort of times. It was in a car park outside, but that was a big win for me. The Brad Ray one was a big win, and obviously Signani for the European because that was great, man. In Wolverhampton, the atmosphere was mental. So that's a memory that I live with me forever.
Yeah, so sort of, on that, obviously your most recent fight back in November was in Wolverhampton, you packed the place out and you won the European title off of Matteo Signani. How sort of was that and what did it mean to you? Getting the win in front of all of those fans, chanting your name. What did that mean to you? And where do you think it ranks in your career?
He's probably at the top, but um, I don't know. As much as he probably is at the top, I don't know. I did get a big enjoyment out of beating Brad Ray in Manchester because he's from Manchester. He's like, you know what I mean, being the kind of like the bad guy going to someone's place and beating him. And I was big underdog as well. So I earned a lot of people a lot of money as well. So that was a nice feeling. Um, yeah, them two really probably stick out for me.
So then obviously, on to this upcoming fight, how did it sort of come about? Obviously, Matchroom won the purse bids. How did it sort of come about, and how long have you known about it for? Obviously, taking on Felix Cash.
It's been frustrating, to be honest, because I was meant to fight February the 24th, and it got pushed back to March time, and then the EBE must have got fed up and put Cash as a mandatory on me. So then I couldn't fight then until the purse bids was all sorted, and then Matchroom won the purse bids, and I was hoping I'd fight May, but then it was like the end of June, and I was like, but it was out of my control because obviously Boxer didn't win the purse bid, so you just got to do what you got to do, ain't you? But I think it'll be worth the wait, man. And he's at Results World in Birmingham, so I'm gonna feel like I'm a home fighter anyway. And he's a big name. Cash is a big name to have on my record, and I'm confident of beating him as well.
Yeah, 100%. So, on Felix Cash, how much do you sort of know of him, and what do you think you can sort of take from what you know of him to your advantage in this fight?
It's in like a few years ago, Felix Cash was on everyone's lips as one of the top guys in middleweight division, probably going into world honours. Do you know what I mean? Um, I wasn't, but I've worked hard in the last couple of years, and I feel like I've caught him up, and I feel like I've surpassed him as well. But that time will tell, and it time will tell. But I live the life, man. I live the life for boxing. That's 24/7. He's my life, and I don't know what he's been doing for the last year and a half and whatever. But I feel like that's going to catch up on him when I'm in the ring with him.
Yeah, so that sort of leads me on to something that I wanted to ask you. Obviously, watching the press conference, he said that he's treating this fight almost like a warm up, almost like a stepping stone. What would you say, your response is to that statement that he made?
He'll be in for a shock, won't he? He'll be in for a shock, man. That's all I can say. I can't control what he wants to think or whether he thinks that or not, or he's just saying that. I don't know. But if he does think that, he's going to be in for a hell of a shock, man. So, listen, man, I'm nobody's warm-up fight. I'll give anyone in the country a hard fight. In Europe, I'm a European champion. Everyone, yeah, what I mean? So, I don't know if it's a bit of tongue-in-cheek, but he's going to be in for a shock, big shock, if he thinks that.
How's training been for this fight? And have you been training it differently to any of your other fights? Obviously, the pressure being main event on a massive DAZN show with Matchroom. Have you been training it differently, or is it still sort of the same?
No, same old, same old. The only thing is went out to Lanzarote a few weeks ago. Sparred a guy. He was Pierre, I think Dimbombe, his name is. He was on the Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney undercard. He needed some southpaw sparring, so that was about 3 weeks ago or something. That was a good experience. But same old, man. Yeah, it's not broke, so I don't need to fix it. I mean, we've got good people in the gym. Everyone's pushing each other. Just like me and got Liam Davis as well. Bit of banter, but everyone wants to be the best in the gym, be the best on the track, be everything. So the healthy competition. So I keep going. It's got me this far. I don't need to change nothing, man.
100%. So obviously, this being your maiden defence of your title, do you sort of feel any like pressure on performing on the night, or not really?
Nah, no pressure. Listen, if you ask me a few years ago, I'd be European champion. I probably won't believe you. Do you know what I mean? And the amount of fights that I've been underdogging and still won. So there's no the only pressure I put on myself is to make sure I've done everything that I can. Like today, I've trained 3 times today. I've trained hard, and that's all I can do. You know what I mean? And I think that'll be enough personally. But every night I get to bed thinking I've done my best. So there's no pressure. There's no pressure from me. The only thing I'm scared of is not putting enough effort in. But I treat that day by day. So I've done everything that I can do. But in another 6 weeks' time, I would have done the same I've done today. But for another 6 weeks, I'll be in the best prime condition. There's no pressure on me at all.
Come June 22nd, if you get the win on the night, what do you think that sort of double question? What do you think it would mean to you? And then secondly, where do you think you want to go from there? Obviously beating a 16-0 Felix Cash, very tough opponent. What do you think it would sort of mean to you? And yeah, where do you think you want to go from there?
I've not really thought about it, to be honest. I just want to. It'd be a massive win, definitely. It'd be a massive win for me, and it'd be my best win. Um, he's going to be the best name on my record, and I don't think he's fought anyone as good as me either. So If you asked him, he'd probably say he's fought a lot of people better than me, but I don't take no much notice. But I can't really look past him. I refuse to like look at everyone else, but if, just for an answer, I just want the biggest fights out there, really. Biggest fights for the biggest purses.
So, lastly, have you got anything you want to promote, say for your sponsors, your social media, anything like that?
Just SNR Construction is my main sponsor. I've got other sponsors as well, but without that guy, still be working, and I wouldn't have won an English title, never mind a European one. So I can't thank them enough, man. They've supported me week in, week out, and they've allowed me to chase my dreams.
100%, mate. Thanks so much for your time. Yeah, I really
Thank
do
you for having
appreciate
me on.
that. And yeah, best luck with your fight, and we'll definitely do it again sometime.
That's it, man. Thank you.